Kamusta there, guys. What is up? It is the Drag6 dude here, and today we are going to be taking a look at the amazing weapon balance in this game. And I'm kidding, it's not amazing, but it's not terrible. I feel like we're in the medium range here. We can still talk about certain play styles and play sets and say they're OP, but I mean, as long as you have a low damage or a moderately damaged low recoil assault rifle or SMG, you'll be lighting people up. But I feel like there's a couple changes here that need to be changed, and unlike what people are probably thinking, I don't have a hard-on for this game as much as people realize. I do have issues with the game, and I feel like they need to be addressed here. And of course, I love to keep it real with you guys. I'm not going to tell you something that I don't full on believe. So we're going to get right into the video. I only have like 7 or 8 different things I have to add or ideas, but this is just weaponry. I'm not going into perks or how the maps are set up or anything like that. So if the maps don't change and the perks don't change, these are my ideas for the weaponry. Okay? This does take into account ground war. Ground war is a big game mode in this game, and honestly it's one of my favorite in the last couple games. Honestly, it's a very good game mode. I feel like a lot of people are looking over it and just focusing on the 6v6, but the fact that we're able to play so many different types of game modes and they all have maps that support them, and ground war has like 5 now. 5 different maps. Actually, I think it might be 6 with the new update. But, of course, there's going to be 6 eventually anyway. Anywho, just the fact that we have the ability to use multiple guns, multiple different variants, and just the abilities that we're able to play, or just the ways we're able to play in this game, and we're still just using the same class over and over again. I don't know if that's the community being just toxic as hell, or maybe it's just the developers not wanting to change their formula. The developers are not saints in this scenario, so we're not going to act like they are. But we're going to get right into the video with my first idea. It's a big one. Alright, I'm not going to act like any of these ideas are just easy to pop into the game and they will work 100%, but these are just my ideas. These are just something I can just throw around in a boardroom, maybe get some traction on. But there's only a couple of these that actually focus on specific weapons, as much as all these weapons are. I'm gonna say, number 1, get rid of the 50 or 60 round magazines for assault rifles. Seriously, we don't need them. If you want to add in a 40 round magazine or a 35 round magazine, add a couple rounds to it, that's fine, okay? You can use those magazines to some use, but 50 rounds and 60 rounds for an assault rifle is a little crazy. I don't like it. I don't feel like we need a 60 round M4 or a 60 round Kilo, or hell, a 60 round, what's that other one, M13? No, we don't need them. Get rid of them. Maybe if you want to add it to the L85 because it is an LMG, that's fine. Okay, 60 rounds on the LMGs, like the Kilo, well, not the Kilo, the Holger, the L85, those styled weapons, I can understand if you want to put 60 rounds on those. But when you're putting them on, just normal assault rifles, it breaks the balance of the game, and anybody can run around with a Kilo and sit around a corner and just wait for somebody to pop out, not have to reload, and just pop another couple people down. Couple people. It doesn't work. I don't like it. It's not a fun system, and honestly, I'm sure most people who play this game are going to agree with the fact that 50 round and 60 round magazines are just not fun to use. Okay? Alright, I'm going to go with another thing here. Because these bigger round magazines, I feel like I need to bring up the SMGs. The MP7 and the Uzi, their abilities to put in 50 and 60 round magazines, I don't think 60 is good, but 50 rounds for an MP7, I think that's fine. If you want to put a 40 round magazine on an Uzi, that's fine too. I think 50 should be the soft cap for SMGs, as long as, I mean, if you want to put the reload a little bit further up there, I think 50 round magazines are the soft cap. And before I move on, I want to make sure everybody knows here, I want the Kilo to keep its 100 round magazine. Now, I get it. People may not want that, you know. I'm already proposing the fact that 50 and 60 rounds are taken away. Why would I want them to have the 100 round? Well, here's the idea. You give the reload a slower animation. You can buff it up with sleight of hand, which I'm sure people will do. But just the abilities to to reload the gun and have it take a little bit longer, like an LMG-esque style reload speed, I feel like that would be more balanced than the 50 and 60 round magazines, where you can just plop it in, pop it in with sleight of hand. Actually, I'm not sure if the normal reload's any different from the 50 and 60 rounds. I think it's just a little bit slower, so I don't know, man. We're going to move on. The SA-87 should have like damage or mobility to an assault rifle, ARs. It should be like an AR when you fully convert it to the L85 counterpart. It should feel like an assault rifle. It should not feel like a converted LMG. I honestly would put the Holger in there too. If you want people to use that version of the Holger, that version of the G36, other than, you know, it's a cool looking weapon, and honestly it is. I love the G36 in this game. It's amazing. I never thought they would improve on the COD 4's variant, but this one definitely does, and then some. And another big thing before we move on, from especially the assault rifles, do not nerf the M4. Do not nerf the Kilo. These guns are fine. You just need to mess with their magazines, maybe their aim down speed, maybe along those lines you can nerf them. No, don't worry about the damage. Don't worry about the recoil. These guns fit what they're supposed to be, and those, if you make them any sort of like an AK style weapon, what's the point of having different guns? You know, these guns are supposed to behave differently and, you know, do things better or not as good as the other ones. These are supposed to be more balanced. There's, you know, if you want to have a high damage assault rifle, you want to go to the AK. If you want a low recoil gun, you can go to the Kilo or the M4 or the TAR or the SIG 50 or the SIG 15. I don't know the actual variation of that name, but the idea still remains, alright? If you want to use a specific gun, you can. It's not just, oh well, this assault rifle looks cool, so I'm going to use that. Another one, keep the shotguns the way they are unless they want to buff the Origin 12. I mean, I would be okay with a buff to the Origin 12, but don't make it overpowered. I know how quickly those things can get overpowered. You want to give the FAL a faster fire rate but higher recoil, like an assault rifle. No, I'm not talking about like the burst variation, that kind of recoil, but just something so when, you know, you can kind of learn how the recoil works and then you can make it really, really good. That type of FAL. A lot of other games have had it, especially in Modern Warfare 2. It was an underrated gun then. It's not really underrated now. I think it needs a little bit of a buff. I think it's the least used AR in the game. I'm sure it is. But just something to make it more appealing to use. Make it a skilled weapon. We're going into the final couple here, so just bear with me here. These are more about the SMGs in the game. But we need to make the Uzi not shoot pellets. I like the Uzi. I like the way it looks. It's a very cool looking gun. It's a low recoil SMG, but it needs more damage. It seriously needs more damage. And actually, to this point, before anybody says, well, nerf the M4 anymore, well, it's going to turn into the Uzi. Do you see? I'm sure people haven't really used the Uzi as much. In hardcore, it's okay. It's actually quite good. But in core game modes, it shoots blanks. You're shooting marshmallows. That's what the M4 would be if you nerfed its damage. I don't even think if you buff the Uzi's damage, it'll make it even better. So, the last one is nerf the SMG's recoil. Okay, this is more realistic. I don't really care. Just nerf its recoil. Make it so at 15 to 20 meters, it goes up a little bit more than normal. Okay? It's not hard. Then, in CQC, SMGs should melt people. That's what SMGs are designed to do, is to melt people in close quarters. And the damage should drastically fall off from 30 to 40 meters. Drastically. I'm talking about like 40 damage to 20. Like, I'm talking about drastic changes here. But, of course, these are more crazier changes. If you have any ideas to improve this game, especially when it comes to weaponry, please put it in the comment section down below. I will not be listening to the ones who just say run around with a 725 and one-shot everybody. I don't think that's fun. Tell me what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Talk to you later.